Hello and good morning. You are watching this because you are about to make a corner of your room. The next assignment on Tinkercad after the ice cream cone, we are going to recreate our room. Here's a more finished version of a tech room at CDM. You do not necessarily have to recreate your bedroom. You can make a fantastical version of your bedroom. You can recreate your favorite classroom at school. I really don't mind, but it needs to be a cross section of some kind of room. To begin, we are in our Tinkercad dashboard, and I'm going to create a new design. Let me go over a few things to remind you about what Tinkercad's all about. If you right-click and drag around, you can rotate your view. If you hold down on your middle scroll wheel button, there is a button, if you push down, that will let you move the camera angle without rotating. First thing we need to do is make the floor. I'm going to cover the entire work plane with my floor. So everybody's bedroom, is going to be about the size of the work plane. And to begin, I'm going to start by dragging a box and dropping it in the corner of my work plane. Now my next goal is to simply shrink this down height-wise, because it's a little bit too tall, right? It is now 20 millimeters tall. And I know that because of this, this little control here controls the height. So I'm going to click and drag that down, that little white box, to 5 millimeters. You do not have to do the exact numbers I'm doing, but I know some people like numbers, so I'm going to roll with it. I find today we're going to be doing a little bit of the top view. The easiest way to stretch this out to this far corner is to do it from a top view. That way you can see the whole work plane. Now I'm going to stretch this out. And for all you number heads out there, I'm going to simply create a 200 by 200 millimeter room. 200, so I'll type in 200 and hit enter. And then on this side, I'll type in 200. So we are controlling the size along two axes here. Nice. I'm going to right click and drag down. I'm going to say don't allow. Google Chrome wants to, we'll say okay. The carpet, I'm actually recreating my child's room, my two boys' room. They have a bunk bed. They do not have red carpet though. So I'm going to go over here where it says solid. Click on that. Change it to like a gray color. Whatever you want, whatever color you wish you had, whatever you actually have, doesn't matter. I'm going to do a little bit of a monotone thing here for you guys. I personally need to keep the colors light in order for you guys to see these black elements here. So just to explain that. Hey, I got the floor. I just need to do two walls and then poke a hole through one of the walls to represent some kind of door or window, because you must have some sort of entrance to your room. To make a wall, I'm going to do the same thing I just did with a box, except I'm not going to make a floor. I'm going to make a wall. So I'm going to drag another box into that same corner. And this time we're going to stretch this box out. You see me trying to line it up here. We're going to align perfectly later. Now I'm going to simply smash this box to make it a little less wide. Specifically, I'm going to keep it at 5 millimeters, the same as my floor. Awesome. Now I can just type in a number here, 200, and that should go boom. Look at that. I could have stretched it out this way using this corner right here. If I would have grabbed this black box, it would just drag this along one axis. And then you could type in 200. For the height of my wall, I found that 100 seems to make sense. So I'm going to click and drag this up until I get to 100. Or we could have typed it. Look, I only could have gone to 97 there. Oops. So I'll click and say 100. We're going to do a little magic here. Let me zoom out a bit. Right click. So we need to make sure that this is aligned. You might not have perfectly aligned your wall. Let me show you the align tool. In Tinkercad, I am going to click and drag this actually out of alignment. So it's like this to get a better view. I'm then going to go to this corner view here so we could see how out of alignment it is. To make this aligned, I'm going to select both shapes. To select both shapes, I could just drag over them, click and drag over them. This red little box appears. Awesome. So that has selected both of them. And now I'm going to hit L on my keyboard or go up here and choose the align feature. Align. Watch what happens when I hit that. These little controls pop up and it will show me, well, where do you want to align this to? Well, I want this wall to be here, right? So it'll align it there. Boom. If I right click around, I think I need to align it to this corner. So you have to look at the preview. I don't know the logic and you have to kind of practice with this, but look, that is now perfectly aligned. I am not aligned totally, like it's not flush with the floor, but I'm not worried about that. I'm going to change this to white. Awesome. Okay, now I don't want to drag out another box, change the color, change the size, line it up. Let's just copy this. I'm going to select this item. And instead of holding down Alt today, we're just going to do the copy paste feature here. So it's right here, upper left, copy, and then paste. And then it will paste a copy kind of right. I'm not going to touch it yet. Don't touch it yet. But it kind of scooted it over a little bit. From here, I'm going to rotate it. So rotate it first. Remember, you can always go back in time by hitting Control Z. So I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, like so. Clearly, it's not aligned. I'm going to drag this over. Now, the problem is that I don't want the floor to move. I want to make sure the floor doesn't move because the floor and this wall are perfectly aligned. To ensure the floor doesn't move when I align this next wall, I'm going to click on the floor first. Hold down Shift, click on the wall. That makes it so that like the floor is the anchor. The floor will not move. It's going to be this wall that moves. I'm going to right click around so we could see this. Choose the align tool or hit L on my keyboard. Look, that is now aligned. And I'm going to align it with this back corner. So it's usually these two back corners, or it's like these opposite corners you'll end up aligning to. Experiment. You might mess up. You might have to go back. You might have to slow down my video. You know about the slow down thing in YouTube? I might show that off today. Lastly, people, I'm going to get out of the align mode. We need to now punch a hole through this wall. I'm going to make a window here. My children have a window roughly yay big right here. Their bunk bed is right here. You might have a door that's right here, right? I don't know. I don't know. Either way, we're now going to show off what are referred to as holes. Holes. Look over here. This red box is a solid. This box that has stripes on it is a hole. I'm going to right-click my view around because we need to be able to see kind of the side of this wall. Watch what happens when I drag a box. I need to punch it through the wall. So we need to make sure it's like this deep. Don't just go this deep because it's just going to make a dent in the wall. See that? Like that's not deep enough. You have to go all the way through. I'm going to place it roughly where I think it should be. And I want you to watch me do this first because I noticed people are getting messed up on this. I'm going to middle click to move my view over. So first thing to do is drag this up roughly into position. I'm going to right click around. Now, where you will get into trouble is if you drag on these white squares. Please attempt to adjust this using the black squares in the middle here. That will ensure that it doesn't like move the thing. You will not be as confused if you adjust these with these black squares, like so. For the tallness, you have to use this white square. That's okay. But to go sideways, move my view around. So this is a nice size window. It's also punching all the way through. It is not done yet. We haven't actually made the hole yet. We've just kind of designed the hole. I'm going to start up my Zoom meeting because it's getting close to starting here. Awesome. Okay. First period. The last thing I'm going to do here is show you how to punch the hole through the wall. To do so, we need to select both items just like we selected the floor and the wall earlier. I'm going to show participants. Right click around. See how it's punched all the way through? Okay, I'm going to select both of these items. Only this wall, only this cube. To do so, I'm going to click and drag and just barely touch the window part, right? So that made it so it just selected those two. If I went too far, it would select the floor as well. You don't want to select the floor. Okay, so I selected my wall and my hole. And now I'm going to go up here in the upper right, and I'm going to choose group. That is this option here. Control G. All right, I'm still doing my screencast, just FYI. So if I click group now, it takes a second, but look, I now have a hole punched through the wall that represents a window. Awesome. That is it. You are done. If you have a floor, if you have a wall and a window, that is it. You have succeeded. If you can't figure this out, come back and ask me personally to the Zoom, but I want you to try and do the screencast first. Don't forget to rename this. I'm going to call this my screencast room. Normally I would say period 1 or period 2. Remember, it's like Google Docs, so it will remember everything that you've done when you log in next time. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I think I made this under 15 minutes, which is my ultimate goal in life. So thank you. And remember, come back to the Zoom. I'm there until 15 till. Ooh, yeah, 12 minutes. Boom.